Times Peter should have divorced Lois Griffin.
These are all the times when Peter should have divorced Lois Griffin on Family Guy. Kicking things off at number 5, Lois takes presidential affair to a whole new level when she hooks up with Bill Clinton.
I remember this.
In this unfortunate episode from season 5, a rather famous political figure shows up in Quahog for, questionable reasons.
In other news,
What's the
former
reasons?
President Bill Clinton was in town today to judge Quahog's annual Miss Cankle USA contest. Now that...
Cankle? Is this a joke on him liking fat bitches? Cause what? That's such a random contest for him to be a judge in. Why did he pick this contest in this little ass town?
Now that's a cankle. Where does the calf fat end and the ankle fat begin?
But for some reason, the notoriously handsy former
What?
president's limo breaks down in front of the Griffin residence, and his security asks Peter for some help. Next thing you know,
I've never seen Peter wear something like this before. Why did he choose to wear this? See, they gotta be playing on some type of fat joke. I'm not fat phobic or nothing, and I'm not fat shaming, but there's a reason why he looks like this. This episode has to be tied into people being overweight.
President's limo breaks down in front of the Griffin residence, and his security asks Peter for some help. Next thing you know, Billy and Peter end up becoming best buddies, but it turns out that Bill isn't exactly the best influence on Peter.
We could eat that pig.
What?
Dude,
Why?
come on. We could totally eat that pig.
Okay, before any angry vegans break out the pitchfork, let me just say that Bill and Peter don't end up eating that pig, they just steal it. That's, better, right? Now,
No.
you might be wondering
No.
where Lois comes into all of this. Well, she finds him looking pretty rough the next day, but then she gets real mad when she finds out he brought a random pig home. She decides to head
What
to
the
Bill's
freak?
hotel room to tell him off for corrupting her sweet, innocent idiot of a husband. Big mistake.
Well, you certainly are very persuasive.
So I'm
What does that
being
mean?
told.
Just as Lois...
Is he a offender? I don't know that much about Bill Clinton. Does he have allegations against him like Trump? What does that mean? He's very persuasive. Like what was he a smooth talker? He got a lot of charisma? What do you mean by that?
You certainly are very persuasive.
So I've been told.
Just as Lois starts to realize how badly she messed up, Peter literally walks in on her and Bill in bed together. He's understandably shocked, though it takes him a second to realize what he's looking at. Lois
That's
rushes
horrible.
back to Peter begging for his forgiveness, and she tells him he can sleep with anyone he wants to get back to her. Any guesses on who he'll pick?
Her mom.
My
Her mom.
mother?
In the end, Lois has no choice but to let Peter live his twisted fantasy.
Peter, are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah, I'll see you at home.
But
The fact he already had his clothes off is crazy. Just imagine your spouse telling you one day they wanted your mom or dad. That's crazy. Or your grandpa or grandma. Like, that's a crazy thing to say. Like, damn, how long you been thinking this? Do you be thinking about that when we're having sex? You want to fuck my pops? Like, what? You want to fuck my mom? Bro, that's crazy as hell. I don't know if I could continue a relationship after knowing something like that.
Lois has no choice but to let Peter live his twisted fantasy.
Peter, are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah, I'll see you at home.
But get this, Peter doesn't end up sleeping with Lois's mom. Instead, he finds himself seduced by Bill Clinton
What?
as well. Coming in hot at number 4, Lois makes the absolutely
remember
unhinged
this.
decision to hit on Meg's boyfriend. Okay, I know what you guys are
How
wondering.
old is he?
Meg has a what?
No, really, I have.
That's not what I'm worried about. How old is that young man? We just putting this on national television? Pedophilia?
Okay, I know what you guys are wondering. Meg has a what?
No, really, I have a boyfriend. His name is Anthony.
Yeah, that
Anthony.
sounds real sus to me. But I guess I'm wrong, because Anthony is not just real, he's a pretty normal kid. Peter and Lois are super stoked that Meg finally found herself a decent guy, but things start to get hairy when the kid lays the charm on Mrs. Griffin.
Has anybody ever told you you're pretty enough to be a movie star, Mrs. Griffin?
Lois is flattered, of course, but this innocent little compliment seems to get to her head, and before you know it, she starts veering into some real creepy territory.
Oh my god, that's kinda hot.
Is she
The only reason she feels like that she needs this attention is because Peter is not smooth talking his wife. Just because you got the baddest bitch don't mean you gotta loosen up on your game. Now, I'm not validating what she's doing here. I'm just saying, let this be a lesson for you right there. I'm not condoning it, but I'm letting y'all know, don't loosen up on your game just because you got the baddest bitch. She can get taken at any time.
Oh my god, that's kinda hot.
Is she drunk? No, that's just sober Lois for you. She seems to forget that
Why?
Anthony's underage
Why did she
and
draw
starts
that?
to fantasize about the poor guy.
Where did she get that
I think
from?
we all know where this is headed. I'll say one thing about Lois. She does not waste any time. One fine evening, she decides to give Anthony a little token of her affection.
Your husband's work and poker game schedule?
My menstrual cycle's on there too, but I don't mind if you don't.
Meg, do you not hear this? Like, is she deaf? Bro, what the fuck? They are not whispering. They're right beside you over here exchanging notes and shit. My nosy ass have been like, What? What the fuck is that? Like, what?
My menstrual cycle's on there too, but I don't mind if you don't.
So, after successfully getting Meg out of the house, the self-proclaimed cougar of Quahog straight up tells Anthony about her feelings. Surely that grossed the kid out, right?
Wow, this is so cool. I've never had a MILF come on to me before.
But hey, at least Meg will never find out.
Is this
Mom, I
canon?
forgot my keys. Do you know where?
You can probably guess how
this is
Meg
real.
feels about this.
That was a
Lois
dream.
has to take the walk of shame up to her room to try and make it up to her, but that's just the first step. She still has to tell Peter what she tried to pull, but once again, things don't
Why
go
did
the
she
way
take her
you'd
teeth
expect.
out?
Lois tells Peter that he makes her feel old and ugly, which seems like a pretty manipulative way to confess trying to sleep with your daughter's boyfriend, but instead
might
of
be
getting
underage.
upset, Peter apologizes to her for his behavior, and boom, that's that. I mean, have some backbone, my guy. The only way this should have ended starts with D and rhymes with schmivorse. Next up
What?
at number 3, Lois goes off the rails at the first sign of a poker machine. It all starts when Chris has some trouble with the Boy Scouts. I mean, putting that tub of lard in the Boy Scouts in the first place is ridiculous, but hey, it's not the worst
what is
idea
this?
Peter's ever had. But the thing is, Peter's a little too obsessed with his son being a Boy Scout. He even makes him a little crazy boxcar for the soapbox derby. Of course, things do not go according to plan. Chris jumps the gun.
Bro, imagine getting bullied by a carrot top. I'm just saying, bro. If I'm gonna get bullied, let me get bullied by a YN or something. A carrot top with freckles? I'm not scared of Ed Sheeran's. They don't put fear in my heart. So getting bullied by Ed Sheeran in cartoon form is crazy as fuck.
Things do not go according to plan. Chris jumps the gun, and his troop leader nearly becomes a smear on the road.
Yeah, that's
Unsurprisingly,
what he
Chris
get,
is
yeah.
kicked out of the Scouts for being an absolute moron, but
Don't take no for an answer, Chris. You're a griffin, and a griffin never knows when to stop.
next thing you
What
know, the
does that
Griffins are
mean?
headed
That's
for
not
the Youth
good.
Scout head office in New York. Sounds pretty simple, right? If only.
Peter, we're lost. Would you please find some place
Oh,
to
this is
ask
when
for
they crash.
directions?
Unfortunately, Peter's simply not having it. He won't be caught dead asking for directions, but why, Peter? Why?
Cause I'm a man.
Oh, seems legit. Unfortunately, Peter's pig-headedness is derailed by some absolutely random crap.
Does he go into the other car and this is how the car crashes? I remember this scene very well.
Legit. Unfortunately, Peter's pig-headedness is derailed by some absolutely random crap.
What was that?
Nothing.
Peter,
Oh.
the car is making funny noises.
Yep, that's not the car. It turns out that Peter had a prune smoothie right before heading out a road trip, which is just an impressive level of
okay.
stupidity right there. The only place where Peter can, relieve
Oh,
himself
this
is
episode.
an Indian casino. He runs off to find a bathroom, leaving Lois with some free time on her hands. She tries asking for directions, but the glint of a nearby poker machine catches her eye. That's just so great for someone with zero.
Oh yeah, she pawns the car off. Oh yeah, you have some valid points. I forgot all about this, bro. Now you gotta make an episode of why Lois should have divorced Peter Griffin. You gotta make it even. You gotta make it equal for both sides.
But the glint of a nearby poker machine catches her eye. That's just so great for someone with zero impulse control. Fast forward just a few minutes and Lois is absolutely hooked. Like Peter has to literally drag her away from the machine. But things take a turn for the worse when they go outside.
But here's the really silly thing, Peter. I sort of bet our car.
Yep, Lois lost the family car because she thought the poker machine's lights looked pretty. Peter has to pretend to
What?
be a Native American and spend a night going hungry in the forest to prove it. Now, by some miracle, he pulls this off and the casino owners have to give back the car, but honestly, I don't know how Peter and Lois's marriage survived this. At our number 2
Facts.
spot, Lois reads one book about minimalism and goes absolutely ballistic. This time around, it's not
A clean house is a happy house. A clean house is a happy house, and she took everything out the house. This episode is crazy.
one book about minimalism and goes absolutely ballistic. This time around, it's not Lois's insatiable sex drive that gets her in trouble. It's just the fact that she tends to take
Look
things
at this.
way too far. Take minimalism, for example. Pretty cool, right? I mean, I'm into all that declutter your life stuff, so I get why Lois got all worked up when she heard about Trisha Takanawa's new book.
It's called Throw It Away, the life-improving art of decluttering. People nowadays own too much stuff. I
Yeah.
am encouraging them to throw it away.
Okay, I guess that
Valid.
sounds legit. And when Trisha clarifies that you can keep items that bring you joy, the whole thing makes a lot more sense. Hey, where'd you learn this stuff anyway? A scientific study, perhaps?
It's very simple. I came up with it after hiking to the top of Mount Asia and meditating on Epiphany Bridge.
Yikes, that doesn't sound like great advice anymore, but of course, Lois is mesmerized by that mystical Asia talk. And since this is Quahog's most most insane housewife we're talking about, she takes the whole minimalism thing to the extreme. Lois is on the warpath here, and she's gonna stop at nothing to max out her joy.
You throwing me away?
Yes.
But get this, Lois is not stopping there. Pretty soon, she's kicked everyone out of the house and into a storage unit. There's only one thing left to throw out: herself. The next day, the discarded griffins show up and find an empty house with a vague note from Lois.
How did she take so much from the house? Like, she took the paint off the wall. Like, how did she do this, bro? The whole house is white. Didn't they have like carpet on the floor? How's the floor white? I don't understand how she did this.
Takes falling into a trash barge for Lois to realize that the clutter wasn't the problem after all.
Everything's fine. I was saved by garbage. I'm garbage. Everything.
Yeah, she's garbage.
Garbage is wonderful.
Well, at least she let her family come home now. Maybe that's the best we could have hoped for. And last but not least, we've got the time Lois's birthday meltdown led to her crushing on an underage Justin Bieber. Cause apparently, nothing screams midlife crisis like borderline felonies.
And you already know, once they drive a Hummer, it's over, bruh. This is a life lesson for you right here. Any grown person in a Hummer wants to relive their young days. It's just not there anymore. Get rid of that Hummer. Get a Tesla. Get a Honda Civic or something, bro. This is not it.
Crushing on an underage Justin Bieber. Cause apparently, nothing screams midlife crisis like borderline felonies. It all starts when Brian reminds Lois that her big day's coming up. Lois seems pretty down about the whole thing.
You know, it's funny. You keep so busy with your kids, time just seems to slip away, and then you turn around one day and you...
Okay, bye. Stop making noise.
Yeah, real classy, Peter. Honestly, that's the kind of thing that'll make anyone want to step out, but things have only just started heating up. Realizing how upset she is, Brian had the bright idea to throw Lois a surprise birthday party. I'm sure this is gonna work out super well for everybody. Didn't think so. But here's the thing. Lois is actually really happy about the whole thing. Maybe things will work out after all. They won't, of course, because this is Family Guy after all, and things start to go sideways when Peter reads Lois, interesting poem talking about how old Lois has gotten. The man just keeps going, and by the end of his poem, Lois looks about ready to walk into oncoming traffic. So what does Lois do?
This
Dump
is his
Peter and get
fault.
her life together? If only. Lois disappears the next day and comes back looking 20 years younger. Well, not really, but she gets some credit for trying. Except she doesn't because she's a middle-aged mother for crying out loud. But things are only going to get worse from here. Lois catches wind of Justin Bieber coming to town, and in her midlife crisis-induced teen brain, she shows up on camera to cheer him on. Little does she know her family's watching her acting like an absolute moron on live TV.
Look.
That's Mom!
Oh my god!
What the hell? She's at a Justin Bieber concert?
But Lois isn't just there for the music. Nope, she wants to get up close and personal with Justin, who still looks like he's about 13 years old. Long story short, Lois shows up at Justin's green room hoping to get some action. After bribing that security guard with some ice cream, she manages to get inside, and the results are about what you'd expect. Lois is clearly looking to make the moves on Bieber, who clearly has no idea what's going on. The super cringe-inducing encounter veers straight into illegal territory with this exchange.
Just get your pants off, hon.
Luckily,
This was on TV, bruh. Yo, did Justin Bieber let them do this? How does this work? This is a crazy episode, bruh.
straight into illegal territory with this exchange.
Just get your pants off, hon.
Luckily, or maybe unluckily for poor Justin, Peter shows up just in the nick of time and takes the kid to Pound Town.
He didn't have to do that. He didn't. Wow.
After having
You did not have to show that, bro. You didn't have to do that.
takes the kid to Pound Town. And after having a heart-to-heart with Lois where he confesses his own insecurities, Quahog's least compatible couple kiss and make up. But honestly, if I were in Peter's shoes, I'd have gotten out of that marriage pronto.